Hi, Mihir. Good morning to you and a good evening from San Francisco in the United States. This is Sandeep Talwar with DriveDeck. We're a tour operator pretty much doing tours from the United States to the India subcontinent and from India subcontinent to the United States. I would like to thank Puneet for getting us in touch to discuss World Tourism Day and the current situation with COVID-19. So what is world tourism? Tourism actually boosts revenues for a lot of economies, some low, some very, very high, and some very significant only because their economy pretty much runs on tourism. And you can look at islands like Fiji, or even within the United States, you can look at Hawaii. So these people depend mainly on tourism. And what happens with that is that a lot of jobs are created in tourism, both direct and indirect jobs that's there. Now, in terms of COVID-19, yes, unfortunately, it has hit everybody very bad, and especially the tourism industry. The tourism industry, since I have been around in the early 70s or the late 70s, we've seen it. We've seen lots of things. We've seen SARS, we've seen swine flu, we've seen the volcanic ash over Europe, we've seen the Gulf War, we've seen the 9/11 in America, we've seen India's conflict with its neighbors. Therefore shutting out airspace, controlling airspace. But those used to be mainly regional situations. This, unfortunately, is a global situation, and the entire globe is actually, in it pretty much. In terms of survival and revival, there are basically two things. Is one, the managers or the management need to think how to actually survive. But while they're surviving, they also need to think about revival. So pretty much keep branding alive, keep an open policy, open door with their team members, their employees, and also with their clients who've been past clients, and talk to them about the situation. The situation will not necessarily change completely, but it will be modified, and one has to kind of enhance that, accept it, and then kind of move forward from there. You are going to see a lot of changes. There will be a lot of, again, investment required for infrastructure in terms of even the hotels, in their sanitization, the airline sanitization, the airports. So there'll be a lot of those kind of things that's there. And then you're looking at transportation, and then the entrance into a lot of the public monuments, which kind of attract large crowds. So it'll be, again, kind of controlled tourism to just control the crowd till such time the vaccine actually comes out. So in terms of people moving with borders closed, that's something that, you as an individual or a company that's there cannot really make that decision. It all depends on what's happening. The government leaders kind of take those decisions in order to close down, shut down, keep it open based on scientific evidence that's coming out. So that is going to continuously change. That's not going to be something that's going to be very straightforward. Again, depending on the country or the region, they will be very fluid in terms of opening and closing their borders. So there, one has to get prepared for it. It's also the responsibility of the individual to actually mask up and follow protocols that will keep them healthy, so that the economy and travel can quickly turn around. Now, in terms of precaution, as you can see, most of the hotels, airlines, etc., have taken all the precautions that's necessary. Even the monuments have started taking their precautions of limiting the number of people that will actually be entering on a per hour basis. We as tour operators, of course, look at all those factors before actually sending the travelers to those destinations from here forward. So we will be looking at a lot more factors than the usual. So again, that does create a lot of significant change, and it does require some additional research and development. And again, like I said, talking to your partners on how things are being changed or modified. In terms of social activities and the destination, so we as a company have actually been a very different tour company. So we've always dealt with social activity, keeping it very local. So when we send tourists from the United States to India, we do take them to rural India and make them actually experience the culture, get socially involved. We've got some which is the culinary tours of India, which is, with a chef that's well known, and we actually get them to cook food in India. So similarly, when we have the Indians travel to the United States of America, we try and get them involved culturally to meet with locals, understand the different culture that's there, food, other than just visiting the monuments. So socially, we are, keeping a tab on that. Again, we as a company have always structured our tours based on 2 people minimum traveling together. So usually it's 2 friends, married couple, or neighbors kind of thing. Or we've got small groups of no more than 16 passengers. So that has helped us a lot. We keep things small, keep it close to everyone that's known to each other. So we've managed that. So now when everyone is talking about social distancing and things like that, we've always had that. We've kept it, intact, and the cultural engagement with the locals is a lot easier when we do this smaller groups that we take. In terms of economic impact for domestic tourism, it has taken a hit. I mean, that's a fact. Some places 100%, some places a little less, maybe 90%. Some places are even negative, actually, because depending on seasonality, there's many a time when a company is marketing, let's say winter tourism up in the Himalayas, and they're marketing it in the southern part of India. They are marketing it almost about 6-8 months or even 1 year before to try and entice for the following year. So they've already spent their marketing money. They've already, some of them have even booked, taken deposits, and all that has to be returned. That leads you to negative impact. Then, of course, with the zero revenue, again, based on government regulations, the question comes is how long can you actually survive without an income? And then once you do survive, then the question comes is, what is it that you're going to do in terms of revival? And those are going to be challenges that's going to come in. Each company management has to look at it on their own, review back to maybe when they started up, and look at it as a startup situation, a second chance, and tweak it accordingly, to the actual situation that's happening in over here. In terms of the responsibility of domestic and international tourists, one, of course, you do take the precautions that are given to you as mandate from the different governments, and then based on that, you follow those rules and protocols of actually being responsible, where you do take care of health first, not only of yours, but also the others that you will be interacting with. And of course, you leave it cleaner than what you visited. It should be a motto that one can follow to be responsible, when visiting another place. So in terms of tourism, domestic, international kind of thing, so you're really looking at, world tourism started as a concept in 1970, but actually got implemented in 1980. And every year, each country is a host. And of course, there's a theme that goes with it. So last year, 2019, India was the host, and it went with a rural tourism development, which we as a company have been doing it for a very long time. We do take our tourists mainly into the rural areas, make them understand, and that's what I talk about, the cultural exchange that again helps in that. So there are those factors that's there. This year, of course, is going to be about jobs. I'm sure about that. I'm kind of looking at more of travel actually starting during the second quarter of 2021, which would be about April, but you may see some movement a little earlier in March. And well, in today's day, global tourism is a reckoning factor that's there, and we wish everyone a tourism day and have fun basically. Alrighty, take care. Thank you.